Have you ever opened your closet, stared at the full rack of clothes, and still felt like you had nothing to wear? Or maybe you've spent an entire Saturday tidying up your space, only to find it just as messy again by Wednesday. If that sounds like you, you're not alone. The truth is, most of us are surrounded by way more stuff than we actually need. And instead of feeling comforted by it, we end up feeling overwhelmed, stuck, or even guilty. Especially when we keep things just in case, or because we paid good money for them. Now imagine this, walking into your home and actually feeling calm. Every item has its place. There's space to breathe, think, move. That's what living with intention feels like. And that's exactly what the KonMari method can help you do. If you've ever tried to declutter, only to give up halfway through, it's not because you're lazy. It's probably because you were using a method that doesn't work. You see, the KonMari method isn't just about getting rid of stuff. It's a mindset shift. It helps you reset your space, your habits, even your way of thinking. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through 4 simple, powerful principles from the KonMari method that you can start applying right away. Even if you're not a minimalist, even if you live with other people who aren't quite on board yet. By the end of this, you'll have a clear, actionable way to bring more clarity and peace into your home without making it feel like a huge, stressful project. Let's get started. 1. Clear it all in one go, don't drag it out. All right, let's talk about the first big shift in the KonMari method. And I'll be honest, this one might feel a little intense at first. But trust me, it's powerful. Most of us are used to decluttering in small bursts. Maybe you do a drawer here, a shelf there. One day it's the kitchen, the next, maybe your bathroom. It seems manageable, right? But what usually ends up happening is, you never really finish. You get stuck in this endless cycle of tidying where things are never fully done, and the clutter just keeps creeping back in. Sound familiar? Here's what Kondo suggests instead. Do a complete tidying marathon. Yes, all at once. Not over months or years. One single, focused effort. Now, when I first heard that, I thought, who has time for that? But the idea isn't that you do your entire house in one day. It's that you make a conscious decision to go through everything in your home in a structured, intentional way over a set period of time. Maybe it's a few weekends in a row. Maybe it's a full week off if you can swing it. But the key is to treat it like an event, a turning point. Why is this so important? Because when you commit to doing it all at once, you're not just tidying up. You're transforming the way you relate to your stuff. It's a reset, a before and after moment, and psychologically, that makes a huge difference. Studies in behavioral science show that we remember moments of emotional intensity, what researchers call the peak end rule. When your brain experiences a dramatic, meaningful shift, like seeing your home completely decluttered in a short span of time, it's more likely to stick. I'll give you a personal example. I used to declutter the same drawer every couple of months. It was where I kept pens, batteries, tape, all the random stuff. I'd clean it out, feel proud for a day or two, and then, boom, right back to chaos. Then one weekend, I tried the KonMari way. I pulled out everything from that category, not just the drawer, but from every corner of the house. I had 5 kinds of scissors, 3 staplers, a dozen pens that didn't work. Seeing it all laid out like that, it was a wake-up call. But more importantly, once I put in the time and made the big decisions, I never had to do it again. That drawer has stayed organized for over a year now. No joke. Doing it all at once also gives you something most people don't realize they're missing: momentum. There's something really satisfying about seeing a room completely transformed. It energizes you. It makes you want to keep going. But when you tidy little by little, that momentum gets lost. You never hit that emotional high that helps push you through the rest. Now, I get it. Life is busy. You might be thinking, I can't just drop everything and spend days cleaning? And that's fair. But here's what you can do. Plan your tidying like a project. Block off time on your calendar. Treat it like a priority. Because the payoff, it's way more than just a clean house. It's mental clarity. It's less stress. It's waking up and not feeling overwhelmed before the day even starts. And one more thing, this isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. Even if you can't do your whole home right away, start with one category and commit to finishing it fully. Not a corner of the closet. Not just socks. The entire category, all at once. When you do that, you're not just organizing, you're building trust with yourself. You're proving that you can finish something fully, and that energy carries into every other part of your life. So, if you've ever wondered why you keep tidying, but nothing really changes, this is probably the reason. The KonMari method doesn't want you tidying forever. It wants you to do it once, do it right, and then never have to do it again. And honestly, that sounds pretty amazing, doesn't it? 2. Sort by type, not by room. Let's move on to something that feels totally counterintuitive at first, but it's actually one of the most important mindset shifts in the KonMari method. Instead of tidying room by room, Marie Kondo tells us to tidy by category, not by space. Now, most of us, understandably, start with a place. The kitchen, the bedroom, the living room. That feels logical, right? But here's the problem. When you tidy by location, you're only seeing a small slice of what you actually own. Let's say you're organizing your bedroom closet. You feel good, it looks clean. But then 2 days later, you open a box in the garage and find another stack of sweaters. Or you're cleaning the bathroom and later discover more skincare products under the kitchen sink. That's how clutter hides. And that's exactly how it keeps coming back. Tidying by category forces you to bring everything of the same kind into one place, at once. It's not just about organizing, it's about confronting the true volume of what you own. And trust me, that moment is powerful. Let's take clothes, for example. Under the KonMari method, you don't tidy just your bedroom closet. You gather every single article of clothing from every drawer, every shelf, the laundry room, even the coat hanging on the back of the door, and pile it all together. The first time you do this, you might be shocked. Most people are. You start realizing, wait, why do I have 12 pairs of jeans when I only wear 2? Or, how did I end up with 5 black hoodies that look almost exactly the same? That little shock? It's not a bad thing. It's a wake-up call. It helps you see your habits, what you tend to buy on impulse, what you hold on to just in case, and what no longer fits your life. And once everything is in front of you, you can finally make decisions with clarity, not confusion. Another reason this approach works so well is because your brain likes structure. When you tidy by category, you eliminate distractions. You're not switching mental gears between types of items, books, then clothes, then kitchen tools. You're focused. You get into a rhythm. Your decision-making becomes quicker and more consistent. It also helps prevent burnout, because when you tidy by room, you might finish the bedroom and feel accomplished until you realize there's another closet in the hallway, a dresser in the guest room, and shoes under the couch. You're constantly chasing done, but never quite getting there. Categories give you clear boundaries. When you've gone through all your clothes, that's it. That category is complete. You can breathe, take a break, and move on to the next with a real sense of progress. Marie Kondo recommends following a specific order. Start with clothes, then books, then papers, then miscellaneous items, she calls this komono, and finally, sentimental items. Why that order? Because some things are easier to let go of than others. It's usually much simpler to say goodbye to an old t-shirt than it is to throw out a love letter from 10 years ago. So by starting with the easier stuff, you build up your decision-making muscle and emotional resilience for the harder categories. I remember one viewer once told me, "I thought I had about 20 books, but once I pulled them from every room, there were over 100. They had cookbooks in the kitchen, self-help books on the nightstand, travel guides in the office, a box of old college textbooks in the closet. It was only by seeing them all together that they realized how many they had, and how few they actually valued." And that's really the heart of this whole step. Awareness. You can't make good choices if you're only seeing part of the picture. But when you see it all, when you lay it out in front of you, honestly, it becomes so much easier to choose what to keep, what to let go of, and what truly brings value to your life. So next time you feel the urge to organize your pantry or clean out your nightstand, pause for a second. Ask yourself, what type of item am I dealing with? Then gather every piece of that type you can find in the house. That one simple change will shift the entire experience and get you one step closer to a home that truly feels calm, clear, and intentional. 3. Don't just hide the mess. Let it go. Let's talk about something almost all of us do without even realizing it. Hiding our clutter instead of actually dealing with it. You know what I mean? Those storage bins under the bed, baskets on shelves, that junk drawer that's quietly overflowing. The hallway closet that you pray doesn't burst open when guests are over. It all looks tidy on the surface, but behind every closed drawer or neatly labeled box is just more stuff we don't really need. This is one of the sneakiest traps when it comes to organizing. And here's the thing, modern life encourages it. You walk into any big box store and what do you see? Rows and rows of cute storage solutions. Drawer organizers, stacking bins, dividers, vacuum bags. They all promise to fix the mess. But the truth is, storage isn't the solution to clutter. It just hides the problem. The KonMari method flips this mindset completely. Before you even think about putting something into a box, drawer, or shelf, Marie Kondo tells us to ask, do I even want this in my life anymore? And that question is way more powerful than it sounds. Most of us hold on to things out of guilt, habit, or anxiety about the future. We tell ourselves, well, maybe I'll use this someday, or I spent money on this, so I can't just throw it out, or it still works, so I should keep it. But what's the real cost of hanging on to those things? Cluttered space, mental noise, a subtle but constant feeling of being weighed down. There's actually research backing this up. Studies have shown that homes with more visible clutter lead to higher levels of the stress hormone cortisol, especially in women. So that pile of just-in-case stuff you've tucked away, it might be quietly contributing to your anxiety, even if you think it's out of sight, out of mind. Let me give you a quick example. I used to have this big plastic bin under my bed. It was full of random electronics, old chargers, broken headphones, cables I couldn't even identify. It was the kind of stuff I didn't use, but felt weird throwing out. So it just sat there for years. Every time I moved apartments, I packed it, moved it, unpacked it, shoved it under the bed again. One day, I pulled it all out and realized I didn't even know what half of it was for anymore. That bin wasn't storage. It was a guilt graveyard. So what do we do instead? First, we get honest. Take a look at your space and ask yourself, am I storing this because I need it or because I don't know what else to do with it? If the answer is the second one, it's time to let it go. And here's a helpful trick. If you haven't used something in the last 6 months to a year, there's a very good chance you don't need it at all. Obviously, there are seasonal exceptions, like holiday decorations or winter coats. But for the most part, the things we truly value are the things we reach for regularly. The KonMari approach is all about visibility and intention. When you only keep the items that serve a purpose or bring you joy, your space naturally becomes more breathable. You're not stuffing things into every available nook. You're choosing what deserves space in your life. And when you finally do store something, it's not out of avoidance. It's because that item has earned its place. One last thing, don't confuse neatness with clarity. A perfectly labeled shelf filled with things you never use is still clutter. It's just better disguised. Real tidying, deep, lasting tidying, isn't about putting things in prettier containers. It's about removing the excess before you even think about organizing what's left. So the next time you feel tempted to buy another storage box, pause. Ask yourself, am I solving the clutter or just hiding it? Because when we stop hiding, that's when real clarity begins. And trust me, your home and your mind will feel so much lighter. 4. Start with your own space and let others catch on. So here's a situation that might sound familiar. You're super motivated to declutter your home. You've watched the videos, read the books, maybe even started following some minimalism accounts. You're ready. You're in. But then, you look around and realize your partner? Not interested. Your kids? Still leaving stuff everywhere? Maybe your roommate is the kind of person who thinks organized chaos is a personality trait, and suddenly, you're not just dealing with clutter, you're dealing with resistance. That's frustrating, right? This is one of the biggest emotional roadblocks people face when starting their KonMari journey. And it makes total sense. You want to create a peaceful, intentional home, but the people you live with aren't on the same page yet. So what do? Well, here's what Marie Kondo says, and it's probably not what you'd expect. You don't start by changing them. You start by changing you. It might feel counterintuitive, but the most powerful thing you can do is focus completely on your own belongings first. Your clothes, your books, your desk, your personal space, the parts of the home that are yours to manage. Even if it's just one drawer, or your side of the bedroom, or a single shelf in the kitchen, start there. Do it fully, do it well. And then, wait, because something really interesting tends to happen. When other people see the transformation, not just in your space, but in your energy, your mood, your clarity, they often become curious. They might not say it out loud right away, but they'll start noticing. And over time, that curiosity becomes openness. Then openness turns into participation. This isn't just some feel-good advice. It's actually rooted in behavioral psychology. People are more likely to adopt new behaviors when they see them modeled consistently, especially when the results are visible and positive. It's called social proof. When your family or housemates see how much easier your mornings are, how peaceful your corner of the house feels, how less stressed you seem, that's influence. Quiet, but powerful. I've heard so many stories about this. One woman told me she started by tidying her clothes using the KonMari method. She folded everything into neat rows, let go of what didn't spark joy, and suddenly her half of the closet felt like a boutique. A few weeks later, her partner, who had been totally uninterested, asked her to help with his side. Not because she pushed, just because the change was impossible to ignore. Another person shared how they used to argue with their kids constantly about cleaning their rooms, but instead of fighting about it, they just focused on decluttering the shared spaces and setting an example. A month later, their teenager came to them and said, "Hey, can we do my room next?" Here's the key. Transformation invites cooperation, not control, not nagging, not ultimatums. When you lead by example, gently, patiently, consistently, you give others space to change on their own terms. That's way more sustainable than trying to force someone into a new lifestyle before they're ready. And let's be honest, this approach also protects your peace. You don't need to carry the emotional burden of changing everyone at once. That's exhausting. You just need to take full ownership of your part. Do it with care, do it with joy, and trust that the ripple effect will happen. So, if you've been feeling discouraged because your home isn't a team effort yet, don't give up. Start with you. Create your little corner of calm, your zone of intention, and then let the magic unfold. Because it does unfold. Slowly, quietly, beautifully. And when it does, it's even better than if you'd forced it from the beginning. So, let's take a breath and look back at what we've covered today. We started with the idea that maybe, just maybe, the way you've been trying to tidy up your home isn't actually helping you long-term. And instead, we explored a different approach. One that's more intentional, more complete, and honestly, a lot more freeing. You learned why decluttering everything in one big wave, not piece by piece, can be a total game changer. Then we talked about sorting by category, not location, so you can actually see what you own and make decisions from a place of clarity. You discovered how hiding things in cute storage bins doesn't solve the problem, it just buries it. And finally, you found out why focusing on your own space first, without pushing anyone else, can be the most powerful way to inspire change around you. Here's the thing. You don't have to be a minimalist to want a home that feels peaceful and functional. You don't need to throw everything away. You just need to start being more honest about what really serves you and what doesn't. So, here's your gentle nudge. Pick one category, maybe clothes, maybe books, and set aside some time this week to go through it the KonMari way. All in one go. Lay it all out, item by item. Ask yourself what sparks joy. Keep only what truly does, and see how you feel afterward. And hey, if you do it, come back and let me know how it went. I'd love to hear your story in the comments. Or better yet, share a before and after photo. You never know who you might inspire just by starting. Because small changes lead to big shifts. And your home? It deserves to feel like home.